This is a story of a young man named Daniel, on how he struggles to find a true love from a woman until he meets one in disguise. Please stay calm and watch this story to the end. Also subscribe to our channel if you are just meeting us for the first time. Daniel was a man in his early 30s, known for his chiseled features, charming smile, and piercing eyes. As a billionaire, he had built his empire from scratch, and his dedication to his company was unwavering. His days were filled with meetings, deals, and strategies, leaving little room for anything else, including marriage. As he sat in his office, overlooking the city skyline, Daniel's mind was focused on the next big project. His employees bustled around him, working diligently to meet deadlines. However, there was one thing that consistently caught his attention: the advances from some of his female workers. They would bat their eyelashes, giggle at his jokes, and find excuses to touch his arm or shoulder. Daniel wasn't oblivious to their intentions. He had been in the business world long enough to recognize when someone was after his wealth and resources. Despite his wealth and good looks, Daniel felt like he was stuck in a rut. He longed for someone genuine, someone who would love him for who he was, not just his bank account. But where would he find such a person? As he pondered this question, a new employee walked into his office. Her name was Sophia, and she had been hired as his new personal assistant. Daniel noticed that Sophia seemed different from the others. She was efficient, professional, and didn't seem to be trying to impress him. Daniel couldn't help but wonder if Sophia might be the breath of fresh air he needed. But he was hesitant to get his hopes up. After all, he had been disappointed before. As the days went by, Daniel found himself looking forward to seeing Sophia around the office. He noticed the way she smiled when she was working on a project she enjoyed, and the way her eyes lit up when she talked about her passions. Despite his growing interest in Sophia, Daniel was determined to keep his focus on his work. He didn't want to let his personal life interfere with his business. But as he watched Sophia work, he couldn't help but feel a spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, he had found someone who could see beyond his wealth and status. As time went on, Daniel thought he had finally found a genuine connection with Sophia. But unfortunately, he soon discovered that she was just like the other female workers. At first, she had pretended to be calm and humble, but as time passed, her true intentions revealed themselves. Daniel was heartbroken. He had thought Sophia was different, but it turned out she was just playing a role to get close to him. He wondered if he would ever find a lady who truly loved him for who he was, not just his wealth. One day, Daniel met up with his close friend Emmanuel. They sat down, chatting about their lives, and Daniel suddenly brought up his marital life. "I'm tired of being single, Emmanuel. I want to get married, but I haven't found the right lady," Daniel said. Emmanuel looked at him in surprise. "You're a billionaire, Daniel? How can you struggle to find a wife?" he asked, laughing. Daniel shook his head. "That's the problem. Ladies are after my wealth, not me. I'm sure they'd do anything to get their hands on what I've worked hard for. I need someone who'll love me beyond my wealth." Emmanuel nodded thoughtfully. "You're already wealthy, and you can't just throw it away. But I have an idea. What if you travel to another country or somewhere nobody knows you, dress like a beggar and beg for money? If a lady still loves you in that condition, she'll be worthy of being your wife." Daniel raised an eyebrow. "You expect me to become a beggar overnight? That's crazy." Emmanuel shrugged. "It's the only way to find out who's genuine, Daniel. Think about it." After their meeting, Daniel couldn't shake off Emmanuel's suggestion. He thought about it, weighing the pros and cons. Finally, he decided to take the plunge. He would travel to a new place, dress like a beggar, and see if anyone would love him for who he truly was. Daniel's heart raced with excitement and a bit of fear. What would this new journey bring? Would he find the love he was looking for? Only time would tell. With a newfound determination, Daniel started making plans for his journey. He would leave his wealth and status behind, and embark on a journey of self-discovery and love. Early in the morning, Daniel left to Abuja with just a few dirty cloth. He was determined to start his new life and find a genuine partner. As he arrived in the city, he changed into a simple outfit, a white dirty singlet and black trousers. Anyone who saw him would think he was a poor beggar. Daniel began his new life on the streets, holding out his hands to beg for money. Some people looked at him with pity in their eyes, while others laughed and whispered to each other behind his back. Daniel felt a pang of sadness, not because of what people were saying, but because of how far he had fallen. He had gone from being a billionaire to a beggar overnight. As he walked through the streets, Daniel couldn't help but think about his life before. He had been a respected businessman, with a luxurious lifestyle and a bright future. Now, he was just another face in the crowd, struggling to make ends meet. Despite the challenges, Daniel remained determined. He knew that this was all part of his plan to find someone who would love him for who he truly was. He wished he could find the right person soon and return to his normal life. As the day went on, Daniel met many people who gave him money out of pity. Some even offered him food or water. But Daniel knew that he wasn't looking for charity, he was looking for love. As the sun began to set, Daniel found himself at a busy street corner. He sat down on the ground, holding out his hands to beg. People passed by, some giving him money, while others ignored him. The next day, Daniel walked into a restaurant, hoping to find some food and maybe even some kindness. As he entered, he saw 3 beautiful ladies eating and chatting joyfully. Daniel stood at the door, thinking about how he could ask them for help. Would they give him some food? Would they be kind to him? Daniel gathered his courage and approached the ladies. However, as soon as they saw him, they started yelling. "Get away from us! You're bringing pollution to our food," one of them shouted. They poured water on him and insulted him. Daniel felt humiliated and wanted to cry, but he held his peace. Just as Daniel was about to leave, a strange hand touched his back. He turned around to see a beautiful lady standing behind him. She took Daniel to another seat in the restaurant and offered him some food. "Please, sit down and have something to eat," she said with a kind smile. Daniel was surprised and grateful. "Thank you so much," he said, feeling a sense of relief. The lady introduced herself as Precious. She ordered food for Daniel and promised to sponsor his feeding. Daniel couldn't believe his luck. He had never met Precious before, but she was showing him kindness and compassion. As they ate together, Daniel felt happy. He thought to himself, maybe I've finally found the right person. Precious seemed different from the other ladies he had met. She didn't seem to care about his appearance or his status. As Daniel and Precious ate at the restaurant, Daniel decided to reveal his true identity to her. "Precious, I have something to tell you," he said, looking into her eyes. "What is it?" Precious asked, curiosity in her voice. "My name is Daniel, and I'm actually not poor as you think or anyone else. I am a billionaire. I have my mansions, companies, outside the state. I just came to Abuja to act as a poor beggar so I can find someone who will truly love me beyond my wealth, and you have proven to be one," he said, smiling. Precious's eyes widened in surprise. A billionaire? She had many questions to ask but don't know how and where to stay from. As they talked, Daniel borrowed Precious's phone and called his friend Emmanuel. He didn't come with his phone or any flashy thing he gave. "Hey, Emmanuel, how are you doing? Guess what? I have finally found her. I'm in a restaurant now," he said, giving him the address. "Come with my friends, we're going to celebrate." Precious looked at Daniel in confusion. "What's going on?" she asked. "You'll see," Daniel said, smiling. The other girls at the restaurant were still looking at them, laughing and calling them bad names. But Daniel and Precious didn't mind. They were too busy enjoying each other's company. Less than an hour later, Emmanuel and Daniel's friends arrived at the restaurant in luxurious cars. They were prepared to celebrate their friend's newfound love. Daniel got down on one knee and proposed to Precious. "Will you marry me?" he asked, his heart pounding with excitement. Precious's eyes filled with tears as she nodded. "Yes, I'll marry you," she said, smiling. The restaurant erupted in cheers and applause as Daniel's friends congratulated them. The girls who had been laughing at them earlier looked on in shock and embarrassment. As the celebration continued, Daniel and Precious shared a romantic moment. They knew that their love was real, and that they would spend the rest of their lives together. The girls who had mistreated Daniel earlier left the restaurant, feeling ashamed of themselves. They realized that they had judged someone based on their appearance, and they had been wrong. Daniel and Precious's love story was one for the ages. It was a reminder that true love can conquer all, even wealth and status. And Daniel was grateful to have found someone who loved him for who he truly was. This story teaches us one powerful lesson: that true love conquers all. And there's always a reward for doing good. What did this story teach you? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. I would really love to read from you. And guess what? There's another very interesting story coming in a few days. So, make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on your notification bell so you'll be the first to know when it drops. If you enjoyed this story, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. Someone out there might need to hear it. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your time.